Normally my computer's all charged up and ready to go. I come up to my wife's office to have some quiet,
Good.
and I don't plug it in. So, but last
So
night I was working late, so I didn't have it plugged up all
yeah.
night.
So you
Ah,
guys,
sorry.
because of technology, Nate and I are going to make this a two-part episode because the computer's dying and Uber Conference deciding to kick us both out, and that's the way we roll. But I was saying that my computer's my virtual stage, and we were talking about that. So
We were
Nate,
talking about your mission to teach, to
we were
go out there
talking,
and relieve some
yeah,
teachers in the
mm,
world and bring
we,
them some cash and
yeah, and
let
bring
them
the
send them
cat,
on their way for an afternoon
yeah,
off. I love
let
that idea.
send them on their way for the afternoon. Yeah, because I think the teachers need so much help right now. So Nate, what is your favorite book?
Oh man, that would be tough. I don't think I could really limit it down to just one. You'd have to give me some parameters behind that. It'd have to be either fiction, nonfiction, or like, and it just depends on what stage in my life I'm at or what I'm working on. When I was looking at your questionnaire, there's two books in particular that I think are everyone should read and are just great books to just kind of mold your lifestyle around. And one of those is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's been around since the 1920s or 30s, I believe. He was a brilliant guy, and he documented a lot of the big moguls of the day. You know, the Rockefellers and the oh, I'm forgetting all their name, Vanderbilts, all those types. Um, that's a really great book that I encourage everyone to start with. And then the other one above and beyond that, there's a man that I'm a huge fan of, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and his book 12 Rules for Life. Um, with especially everything that's going on in today's age and all the craziness of the world, that book to me is so relevant, and it's so important that people take the time to understand the principles behind that book. Um, and so if I was going to, so if you want to tell, if I had to give a book that I'm the most, or that is my favorite, I would say probably 12 Rules for Life. I'm actually doing a podcast tomorrow night with Walker Neer on the Walk Show, and we're going to be discussing that book at length and the different aspects of each of the 12 rules within it. And I'm
How
really
cool,
excited to be able to
how
share
cool is
how we're
that?
going to keep that. Yeah, how we're going to keep it down to 2 hours. It's going to be tough, but I'm
How
really
cool is
excited to
that?
talk about it.
And so, if your best friend had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
I saw that question on your list that you sent me, and I think the answer that I put was The Misadventures of Garrison. Because growing up, my nickname a lot of times became, well, there was a term Garrison, and that is my last name, and that term uh, came to be known as when you would screw something up or when you would fumble or
Yeah.
stumble or something along those lines. And most of my life, I've been fumbling and stumbling along the way. But I've had a lot of really, really great adventures and opportunities as a result, maybe not as a result, but along with that. And I've been so blessed to have these, what have now become great stories as part of my life. Um, and so yeah, if I had to call it anything, it'd be The Misadventures of Garrison, probably.
And so, if you
But
had to move,
I am
but
writing a book,
go,
and my book that's
go
about to
ahead.
come out right now is called
You're
Eight Keys
writing
to
a book?
Great. Yeah,
Jeez, you're
but
writing a
it
book?
goes along with my the self-help principles, the
Yeah.
eight keys to great concept. And so along in the actual book, there's a lot of anecdotal stuff, there's a lot of stories, a lot of those things that I just mentioned, that are going to actually be
Okay.
documented in the book. So my first book will actually be titled Eight Keys to Great, not The
How cool
Misadventures
is
of
that?
Garrison.
How
Maybe
cool is
that'll be part two.
that? Congratulations on that. And if you had to move, and yes, your family and wife could come with you, but you can only take 5 things, what would they be?
Do I have to take the wife and kids with me, or can I leave them and take something else? Not
Oh,
just kidding.
yes, you have to take the wife and kids.
No, I was listening. That was another one of the questions I reflected on before this interview. Um, and it would really depend on where I was going. um, being a construction guy and coming from that background of, I was a general contractor for years and years, so I'm sure it would be mostly tools so I could build whatever it was I needed to build
Yep,
when I got there, so it'd be like a drill, a hammer, a bunch of
yep,
nails and screws and
yep.
some kind of a saw of some sort. But that being said, there's one item that I use on a regular basis. One of the questions that I ask my guests that I stole from Tim Ferriss is, "What's an item that you use on an everyday basis that you couldn't live without?" And one item that I take with me everywhere I go, and I use every day, is a product called Body Glide. It's just like an anti-chafing, like it looks like a deodorant stick, and you just rub it anywhere that you would potentially rub from like exercise or from walking, or like I do it in between my thighs, because
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And I've man that product is something that I could not live without. And no matter where I went, cold, hot, regardless, I'd have a stash of that for sure, first and foremost.
And as we wrap this interview up, do you have any questions for me?
Man, I have so many questions for you guys, but we're gonna save most of those for the
Yes,
for
we
my
are.
podcast. But
Yes, we are.
let's see. There were some things that I wanted to ask you about. I'm trying to think about what I can go into without spoiling what we've got, what I've got planned for us ahead of time. Um, hmm. Yeah, I got to be careful here. Let me think about it for just a second. Bear with me.
Go.
Or actually, let me refer back to my notes because I actually had some notes that I was preparing for this interview. Things I wanted to ask you guys. How did you and Danny meet?
We met. It's an interesting story. We met um through
Does she mind if I call her Danny, or does she prefer
no,
Danielle?
no, it doesn't. Danielle, D. It doesn't marinate. And so we met in 1995 um, through a chal- through a nonprofit that deals with disabilities strictly. That's all they deal with. And um, I met many, 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 many people through that nonprofit, and of course, people have changed over the years. But I basically my favorite color was purple, and at the time, is purple. I should say was. It is purple, and at the time, she was on a purple walker. So of course, little old me, who's um, cerebral palsy, who um, has now figured out in her heart that something's wrong with me. I'm like, well, this. I noticed her purple walker, and she laughs at me every time I say this because she like, you notice what? Me, little old me, eagle eyes at 5 or um 5 or 6. Maybe I was 7. I don't even remember. Me, eagle eyes, spots a purple walker, doesn't even realize that she has cerebral palsy, even though she looks like me in a sense. And I go, "Hi, my name is Win." And that's how this friendship started. And at the time, she was living in Kansas City, Missouri. And so she used to drive the 8 or 10 hours out here to go go be with Challenge Aspen. And so I finally convinced her after many, many years of having a long distance relationship. I finally said, well, you kind of need to move out here because number one, I miss you. Number two, she was going through some interesting stuff back home that led her to want to get away. And yeah, every
That's amazing.
so it's like, no, it's like, okay, honey, you need to like move away from the situation, literally and figuratively. You need to move away from the situation to make you feel better in the moment. Um, she got out here. It was her attitude changed. I have never seen a person's attitude change so quickly. It's like
She flourished.
yeah, because she was around people and friends that supported her and loved her, and they didn't have even though she had a family back in Kansas City, they um they didn't have a program like Challenge Aspen
Right.
back there. So
It's all about
she
that lifestyle design like we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's all about the lifestyle design, and
I
so I'm
love that.
like, "Okay, you have to move away from the situation that you're in to get a better lifestyle."
So now, did you introduce her to snowboarding, or is that something she just picked up
She
when she moved out there?
she introduced me to
She
snowboarding.
introduced you to
She
it,
introduced
even though you were the
me,
one I living in Colorado.
even though I was the one living in Colorado, I, um I learned how to ski for many, 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 many years, and there's gonna be an announcement coming up in the next couple weeks that people don't know about yet, and I have decided, due to all the world craziness that's going on, I've decided to do something that people will be shocked by, and it's like, okay, now it's time to do something that
But you're not ready to say what it is yet then,
I'm
huh?
not ready to say what it is.
When are we gonna get the big announcement?
No, you'll get the let's just say you'll get the big announcement when she and I are together, because she doesn't even know what the big announcement is.
What?
And
No way.
so BFF doesn't even know what the big announcement
Get out of
is.
here. That's
But
amazing.
she knows that it's going to be something big, and she knows that I'm actually moving closer to her. Literally, I'm actually moving closer to her because I feel like, again, I need to design my lifestyle around my lifestyle now, because um my life has changed. It's taken a big turn, and took a big turn in 2019. For those of you that are new to me, I lost my mom in 2010, and then I lost my dad in 2019. So I am in the midst of redesigning my lifestyle, moving closer to her,
Wow.
and moving to a more conducive area for cerebral palsy too.
Do you have other family in Colorado? Or are
I
you on your own now?
I do. I'm living with my stepmom and my
Oh, okay.
stepsister, and I do, but I have
Do you and Danny
my
live together?
no, I wish.
Okay.
I wish, but
But
no,
you both live up there in Colorado, up in the mountains.
I do. We do.
Nice.
We do. And that's um it's been fun, but it's always a very interesting challenge for cerebral palsy, dealing with snow,
Yeah, oh,
dealing
sure.
with
It's hard for everybody
cold,
dealing with some of that snow,
and
right?
yeah.
That stuff can
So
be
yeah,
challenging for sure. A whole lot
but
of problems.
as we wrap this interview up, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you?
Uh, the podcast is called the Extraordinary Podcast. That's also our Instagram handle. We're on Facebook as well as the Extraordinary Podcast. But I encourage everyone to go to the website, which is www.8, the number 8,
Eight
keys, the number 2, great.com or
eight
.net. Either one
great.
will take you to the same place. And if you go to that website, you can find the 8 keys to Great, the personal development program. You can find the podcast there with all the episodes. I've got a blog there as well with some fun and interesting articles. Some of them are helpful and apply to podcasting or personal development. Some of them are just kind of fun and interesting. And I've also got some resource pages, different things for different people, services that are things that I believe in, or people that I know, or people that I've interviewed, or just a lot of interesting content. Hopefully, everyone will be able to find something there that they enjoy.
Well, I love it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode. And as I said, I'll be on Nate's podcast, and we're going to try and swing Danielle too, so you guys get to hear the both of
There
them.
is no try by it. We are both of you
Yeah,
will be
we're gonna
guests on
do
the
it.
show. It's
We're
gonna
gonna do it.
happen.
And so maybe it will be two separate interviews. I don't
Yes,
know, but um,
yes.
yeah, you're awesome at what you're doing, and I think that we should all support independent content creators. And so that is my little speech for you guys. And for those of you that haven't voted, go vote, go vote, go vote, because that's my PSA. Yeah, go vote. That's my PSA for right now. But I will see you guys later, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode of Ask Win. Thanks, you guys. Bye, you guys.